And ladies and gentlemen, the man who created a new brand of Cheetos, a new flavor, Andy Dirks. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you guys?
We're good. So we need to get that. I shared that at Big Jim's house, our social. We played the clip earlier, Andy, when you were talking about the flaming hot Cheetos because the Tigers got hot. Dude,
Yeah, they did.
there needs to be a. I already sent an email to Colangelo going, you guys need to have a Tigers edition flaming hot Cheetos for the games next Wednesday and Thursday.
I mean, I think it makes sense.
Doesn't it?
It's a cheetah. They could do the tiger flaming hot Cheetos, and then they could be like the cheetah and the tiger have a little drama in between them. It would be good. Yeah.
You've
got a whole storyline.
Oh,
going
Andy's
on
put some brain on this one. You put some thought into this, man. Love that.
Sometimes when I'm sitting there at night, things just pop in my head. I forget to write them down. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay, you're welcome. Gosh. So we'll hopefully get a little bit of credit for that. So when you're watching the game, are you obviously we see you when you're on with Jason and doing the stuff broadcasting wise, but when you're at home yesterday, how jacked up are you during that eighth inning?
Well, I'm extremely fired up. We watched it at a little local spot with some friends in my business, and the atmosphere, you just know when they go down in the seventh inning and the eighth's rolling around, I'm like, they're going to score runs. They always do. So the whole world's thinking, okay, the Tigers, it was a fun little Cinderella story, but here comes Houston, more postseason experience. And then they get the bases loaded. Ibanez hits the double. And I mean, it was like, when you try to scream, but nothing comes out?
Yeah.
Like that was the initial part of it. Like if you're in a church building and you got to let it out and you want to scream, that was the initial. And then the actual audio started coming out of everybody's mouth there, and it was a blast, man.
Yeah, you're up at overtime. Tell Broadwell to give me a heads up next time. I live in Waterford. I had to come up sunny yesterday, dude.
Yeah,
I know.
You need to follow social media more.
Come on, Mike Broadwell, step your game up. Anyway, we had Leland on earlier this week, Andy, and he said, and I quote you, Johnny, that he said, this is AJ Hinch's managerial job is the best job he's seen by a manager in his 60 years.
Yes.
I would agree on the foundation that he just had to get very creative with what he has. I think also, he's done a good job, and one of the hardest things in leadership and when you're running a professional sports organization is to get everybody to buy in, because there's a lot of different personalities. And Leland, in his own right, was very, very good at this. And I think that he probably flew under the radar as far as, because he had some, bigger names, higher payroll guys. But he was very good at getting each individual player to kind of buy into the team philosophy of how we're going to go about winning ball games. And I think A.J. Hinch has done that. It's just a little bit more noticeable when you're pinch hitting as much as he does. You have pitching chaos, as he likes to call it, out of the bullpen, where he's just bringing in different guys all the time. And necessity is the mother of invention. And once they traded at the deadline and they basically had one starting pitcher, they said, well, we're going to have to get really creative here. And that's when he started rolling out. He'd done openers earlier in the year, but he said, let's just roll out a bunch of openers. Happened to have a bullpen that it made sense to do because they had kind of built it that way with Tyler Holton, Bo Brisky. They had multiple inning guys who were starters at one point in their career, transitioned into the bullpen, and it worked out pretty well. Now, it takes a lot of time, effort, energy by the staff to put the thought into getting the right matchups for those pitchers. What are the manager on the other side? What are their options? And AJ's just so far ahead in that from everybody else at this point, because nobody's really done it before, that he's kind of like created a new system and way to run things that everybody else is going to have to catch up with.
I was going to say the same thing, because you're seeing some teams around Major League Baseball are trying this, and maybe it doesn't work out as well with the Tigers, but how much of this is just a gut feeling, Andy? I mean, it feels like how much of this is from the gut versus sabermetrics and all the information that we get now? We're in a data age when it comes to any sport, but how much of this is A.J. Hinch just going with what he feels?
I think that he's got a good mix. He knows his guys very well. He knows who they will perform well against. But, and he tries to get matchups that allow his players to be successful. Because if there's one thing we know, especially young players coming up the big leagues, it's hard. It is really hard to succeed consistently in the big leagues. But he knows if he can get them in the right situations, they have the best percentage of success in those situations. For some right-handers, it's facing 2 or 3 right-handed batters in a row. For his lefties, maybe it's facing a couple lefties, and some righties hit lefties better than others. And he's just trying to find pockets for those guys to put them into ball games so that way they have the most success possible. When you look at it and you go, okay, who would I rather face 3, 4, 5? Well, I would probably rather have Tyler Holton face 3, 4, 5 than Brennan Hanafy in a given moment, right? Depending on who it is in the 3, 4, and 5 hole. And this is where, like, he's taken this whole thought of, like, we can use this information and data about who's good at what and try to set up pockets throughout the game by bringing in a multitude of pitchers that forces the opposing manager to either make a move now or not make a move. And when they make a move, he's got somebody else in the bullpen that will match up well against them. It's the cat and mouse game. It's the chess game. It's kind of, I don't know if you've ever watched, like, MMA fighting and stuff. But
oh, yeah.
Back in the old days, there was this thing called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Hoist Gracie
nobody
changed
really
everything. Yeah, Hoist Gracie changed the whole thing because no one knew what it was. What he did.
Nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
So when he starts doing it, guess what? He wins a lot of fights. Everybody else catches on, and now everybody uses those techniques in their fighting skills, right? So I think AJ just kind of at the forefront. Now, depending on the team, there's certain teams like. Would AJ prefer to have 7 All-Stars in a lineup to where you just scratch their names in, set it, and forget it? Yes. I think any manager would. You can ask any manager across the board. If I had that option, that's an easier way to manage. It's a consistent way to manage to win a lot of games. He didn't have that, so he had to get creative.
And it worked. It worked. Absolutely.
And Andy, as they get further into the playoffs and we're looking at 5 and hopefully 7-game series, what do you think would be a way that philosophy that AJ has had would evolve?
That's a great question. You know, you'll have a Reese Olson, a Skubal, and then you're going to have openers, and then bullpen chaos, as he likes to call it. And he's just going to have to. I think the 5-game series, not that big a deal. 7-game series, okay, but they've been doing this, and you got to remember they've been doing this for like a month and a half, almost 2 months now, like running out openers, figuring it out in the bullpen. And they've been playing playoff baseball for a month and a half. So whether it's a 5-game series or a 7-game series, like they went in and they beat Kansas City in Kansas City, turn around, beat Baltimore in Baltimore, doing what they're doing now. So I don't foresee it being like all of a sudden, well, we run out of pitching type of options. Maybe in a game, you're going to have a few matchups that aren't preferable, but let's face it, the other team is too in a 5-game series, right? So everybody's got their horses. But I think the Tigers match up so well against anybody right now because of what they have coming out of that bullpen. I mean, you see it, like these hitters know if we can get a lead late, it's going to be pretty secure. And if we're down by a run, all we have to do is get a lead. And we got enough guys to run out of that bullpen, they'll hold it. We don't have to score 22 runs to win a game.
Is it too simplistic to say if the Tigers keep doing what they're doing, they can beat Cleveland? Or is it what? I mean, is it that easy?
Yeah.
Really? Okay,
easy.
really is that easy?
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Tigers, Cleveland's got a great ball team. Obviously, everybody at this point in the game is really good. But this Tigers team, the way they're playing, nobody wants to play them. Because, like, they're so unpredictable, and when you think you got them kind of mapped out and you say, I can bring this guy in or that guy in and I can do this, they just have enough bullets in that chamber, in that magazine, that they just keep shooting out different ideas, different thoughts in big situations. And credit to the players, because it is not easy to go out and perform in those big moments, and these guys just don't care. They don't care what the last name is on the jersey of who they're facing. They don't get caught up in the big moments because this whole year, AJ has preached to them, we're going to play the game we have in front of us today. We're going to play that game to win that game. And then we'll figure out the way to win the game tomorrow. So it's not like AJ's like, man, I gotta save bullets out of that bullpen. You've seen it. He'll run a guy out there. A guy might go 2 innings.
Yeah.
Casey Mize might go an inning and a 2/3 in Kansas City. That bullpen door swings wide open, and here they come. He's going to bring them out. He's not afraid to to bring his best pitchers in situations because he does not want to let the opposing team take a big lead early, right? So he wants to manage the game, keep it reasonable, let the guys do what they can do. And this offense has proven they can score so many runs in late innings against leverage arms. Like, I've never seen that. That's one of the most remarkable things I've seen.
Oh, Hader hasn't given up. Well, I mean, the 8th and the 9th. I mean, Houston looked rattled with these two studs. Presley hadn't blown a save in like 5 years or something. And the Tigers, you're right. Andy Ibanez went out there swinging out of his ass. He's like, I'm not getting cheated. That is you when you played, Andy. It's the same vibe. These guys go up there and they're like, screw a walk. I'll take it if I have to, but I want to put some wood on something.
Yeah, I think when Ibanez turned around that 98 and went like upper tank way foul, I think everybody's like, whoa. He doesn't care. Like 98 what? I don't care.
Well, that was you when you played. That was you when you played.
Yeah,
right? That's that mindset.
That mentality.
Yeah.
It's it. It's a mindset. It's like you're going to get out there, you're going to compete. And when you compete to the best of your ability day in and day out, you keep working on your craft, keep working on your skills, you're going to produce some pretty good results. And they have, 26 guys that are just going out and doing that.
You're the best.
They're there to compete. If you see the quality of at-bats from this team in the last month and a half-ish, last 2 months, like these guys will go in the box and they'll run you 9, 10 pitches. They might not get a hit every time, but they put absolute pressure on the opposing pitcher and the defense up and down that order night in and night out. And it's like nobody wants to play that. Like that is not a fun way to go about your day. It's like I cannot wait for this team to get out of town.
Dude, you're awesome. Hey, Andy, it was a lot of fun. You're always welcome on this show, man. We'll catch up with you next week as well. You are always welcome. I said that again. I will,
Toast you with Cheetos, Andy.
And we will eat a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos in your honor, okay?
I still got a little dust on my fingers. It's like the little spicy remnants.
And I quote, "Kiss, lick it up."
There it is. We'll get Kiss, Lick It Up playing. We'll have a video. We'll have a video of you playing on the board at Comerica, licking the Flamin' Hot Cheetos dust off your fingers. That sounded more like an OnlyFans thing, but anyway. Okay, Andy Dirks, appreciate you, brother.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. It was fun.
Yeah,
I
love that.